All right, let's catch up with commodities. Oil prices falling sharply as OPEC Plus plans for another increase to oil output in November, with the resumption of oil exports by Iraq's Kurdistan raising the global supply outlook. Brent crude futures down 3% to $68 a barrel. Copper is up close to 3%, while iron ore little change at $103 a ton. And as mentioned there, gold hitting another record as investors flock to the safe haven asset on fears of potential US government shutdown. Spot gold trading at around $3,830 an ounce. Well, let's get more on gold, precious metals. What's driving that rally? Brian Chu joining us again from the Australian Gold Fund. Brian, welcome back. Good to see you. So those records continue to fall for gold. Do you think should he be chasing it at the moment or waiting for a pullback?
Hi, Andrew, and glad to be back. And I'm actually quite amazed at the speed in which gold's been heading up. It didn't even take a pause at 3,700 before jumping above 3,800. Personally, I think I'm not chasing it at the moment for the reason that gold's gone up by, I think, about almost 40% since the beginning of this year. And this is a commodity, after all. It's supposed to be a safe haven commodity rather than a industrial metal. So in that sense, when you see a safe haven commodity rise by that much, sure, there is a lot of bullishness and even, I would dare say, the word exuberance out there. And it could continue, but I'm definitely rather cautious in this respect, and same with gold stocks.
And when you say cautious, so you see there is a potential there for a big pullback or more of a consolidation, you think?
I think probably a consolidation would make sense. I've talked to a few friends who are short-term, who look at short-term momentum indicators. They're more versed than me in this respect. I focus on the macroeconomic aspect and also longer-term investing. And they're suggesting it would make sense for the pullback to be even going back to 3,500 to form a base would be a logical destination point, at least in the short term. Now, could it go to 4,000 before it goes back to 3,500? I think that's also possible. But where my money is personally, I am leaning on the possibility of a correction, but probably not the end of a bull market given the rate cuts are on. And also, I see no evidence at the moment from any central banks or governments in reining in spending or to try to reduce the money supply by raising interest rates.
Well, meanwhile, those gold stocks are continuing to run, many hitting new records too, of course. I've asked you this before, you're tending to perhaps move out of the larger producers then further down the scale. Where are you finding that opportunity right now?
So at the moment, I've noticed two companies in particular that are looking particularly interesting, and they are advanced stage developers or an emerging producer. They're specifically Brightstar Resources and Kingston Resources. So Brightstar Resources is a West Australian based gold producer. They're producing gold through third-party toll treating. So they're mining the ore and sending it to a nearby processing plant in order to produce the gold. The other is Kingston Resources, a Australian-based gold producer, a bit of silver, and also they've got copper beneath the ground. They're based in central New South Wales in Condobolin.
What do you actually?
You want me to elaborate a bit?
Well, no, yeah, I was just about to ask you, what are you looking for in those companies, particularly when they're developing?
Yes, so with Brightstar Resources, the market cap is just over $300 million. What actually caught my eye is that the company has done about 6 to 7 acquisitions since the beginning of 2023. That's impressive. And the growth is actually, they're consolidating the regions that they have their properties. The first one is in Leverton region. They purchased the Jaguar Hills and Second Fortune from, I believe it was Linden Gold Alliance. They then consolidated the Sandstone region with the purchase of Montague East from Gateway Mining and also Alto Metals. They originally had a property down in the Menzies region, which they have also mined a bit of gold out of Selkirk. They caught my eye because they got over 4 million ounces of gold resources at the moment. Market cap, as I said, is just over $300 million. They have a processing plant that is on care and maintenance in Leverton, and also another one up in Sandstone after purchasing or will absorb Borman resources into their fold in the coming months.
Now, Brian, of course, it's not just gold that's moving. Silver is playing a rapid catch-up at the moment. We're also seeing platinum, copper's on the move as well. When you're looking for exposure there, where do you want to be? I mean, many of these companies, of course, have their hand in many of these resources. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so this comes down, this also bring up Kingston Resources in this respect too, because Kingston Resources, they're a $125 million company. They once owned the very large gold deposit up in Papua New Guinea, the Missima gold project, which used to belong to, I think it was Placid Dome, and also Newmont, it may have been. And they sold that to Octedi in May for $95 million. They received $50 million in cash, and they're going to also receive some more cash going forward. Mineral Hill is now what they're focusing on, and it's based in Condobolin. There is gold, there is silver beneath the ground. They're producing that at the moment. They spent about 2.5 years mining the tailings or the old waste product from this deposit, and they actually did quite well because the grades were quite good, and they're continuing to mine. They're continuing to look for more, and going into, I think, 2026 financial year, they'll also add copper into their production. As for PGM or platinum group metals, there are a few companies that are now starting to attract a bit of attention from the market, besides, of course, the very well-known Chalice Mining, which is now recovering. Future Metals has actually jumped about 250% since, I believe it would have been around July, when the company, I think, found its bottom at just over 1 cent. The company has been very much under the radar as well. Market cap is now $35 million. And the reason is because they have a much less developed deposit and less publicity than Julima, which Chalice Mining owned. The company is looking quite interesting. And my newsletter readers at Fat Investment Research, we were really early on this company. We purchased back in November 2021. Hopefully, many of my readers are happier now, having accumulated while it spent 3 years trolling through the bottom. And now it's getting quite a bit of love with the help of a boost in the PGEs.
Well, that patience may well have paid off. Brian, thanks for joining us on Australian Gold Fund.
Thanks, Andrew. God bless.
Thank you for watching my interview with AusBiz. To learn more about our work, visit the Australian Gold Fund website. Also, check out Gold Hub Australia for live precious metals price quotes and insights. You can also sign up for our regular updates. And don't forget to visit the AusBiz website. All our links are in the description. Please leave your comments and thoughts on where gold, silver, and the US dollar are heading below. Thank you very much. God bless.